What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up, family?
What's up, guys?
What's
Happy
going on?
Saturday night,
Let me
everyone.
gonna turn this down a little bit. Turn this down a little bit. What's going on?
What's up,
It's Saturday night.
guys?
It is time for have a conversation after dark. Listen, I'll start out by saying this: if you didn't see the last one, you got to go back and check the last one out on our YouTube channel. If you're here with us live,
Welcome.
let us know you're here. If you're here with the replay, put replay in there as well.
If you are watching from Facebook, hop on over to YouTube and watch from there. And while you're there, subscribe if you haven't already.
Absolutely, absolutely. So last week, right? Last week's conversation, I took a 1 minute clip of last week's conversation and put it on TikTok,
Yeah.
and
Oh,
it caught on
it's a good
fire.
one. Yeah.
I mean, it caught on fire
It did.
on TikTok. I
It
mean,
did.
it was the comments are bananas.
Hmm.
A whole bunch of people shared it. We actually got some folk come over and check it out on YouTube because that 1 minute clip, I purposely chose a clip that would ignite a fire, but I wasn't prepared for the fire that it ignited.
Fire starter.
I wasn't prepared for the fire that it ignited on TikTok. It
Yeah.
was nuts. It
It was
was
nuts.
nuts. What's up? Dr. Ez is in the
Hi,
house.
Auntie.
I think one of the next clips I'm gonna post is one of the clips from one of Esme's comments
Hmm.
in that one.
That was such a good conversation,
It
man.
was a great conversation. So you got to go back and check that out. If you don't know what we're talking about just how to talk about being attractive, if seeing someone else that is attractive, and how that conversation goes, if that conversation has ever gone. in your relationship. And so here's the goal for those of you who may be new to this. This is not a this is not the kind of relationship show where we're going to leave you with advice. Now, obviously, because of who we are, we're going to share our viewpoint on things.
Hmm.
But this show is to encourage people to have conversations.
Yeah. And those conversations that are typically uncomfortable or taboo, those conversations that you'd rather not have, that you probably should have.
Yeah. So listen, here's what I would like for you to do. Please, 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 folks, do this for me. If you would just hit the share button and share it with 5 people,
Yeah.
just so we can get some folk. We had a good amount of folk engaged in the conversation last week.
Mm-hmm.
We'd love to have a good amount of folk engaged in the conversation this week as well. Um, there may be 2 subjects tonight. We'll see, or maybe one that kind of morphs into the other. And
Yeah.
and so, listen, I'm gonna kick it off by just saying, well, first before I kick it off, welcome. I know we did that already,
Yeah, we
but
did.
welcome to everybody. And again, like I said, this is a conversation. This is a space where we're just gonna talk about some stuff, man. And I feel like people should be having conversations. Here's what I feel like. This is my take. I feel like I should be able to talk to you about anything,
Mm-hmm.
right? So, like last week, and on TikTok, it got kind of crazy. People were like, well, "Why would you want to know that? And why would he? You know, what's wrong with him? Why he want to know that?" And da da da. Like I was getting dragged in the comments. So it's not so much about what I want to know as much as it is, am I comfortable enough talking to you about it?
Yeah. Yes. So you said you should be comfortable enough to talk to me about anything. And I
Yeah,
agree. But should you talk about everything is I guess where those comments
that's where the comments were coming
were
from.
coming from.
So let me ask those of you who are watching right now, and if you're watching by the comments, let us know how you feel. Should you be able to talk to your spouse about anything?
I think you should be.
You know, can you talk to your spouse? You personally, those who are watching, can you talk to your spouse about everything?
Mm-hmm.
And if no, why not?
Yeah.
Throw that in the comments if you're brave enough to do so. I believe that I should be able to talk to you about everything. And so
Definitely.
that's kind of where this show is. We're going to bring some stuff up and so that it'll make it hopefully easier for you to bring some stuff up.
Right.
Because sometimes you need some kind of soft conversation starter,
Yeah.
right? What's good, Migs?
Yeah. Hey Mix.
Thanks for coming through, bro. Appreciate it. Yeah, so sometimes you need a soft startup, and
Mhm.
so that's what this after dark conversation is going to be. It's a soft startup.
What is it?
Soft startup. I'm not going to say that more than 3 times. And so tonight, here's what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about something that kind of goes back to, if for those who really follow us, our true followers know that we did something on YouTube called Thursday Night Convo. And this is going to kind of piggyback off of a Thursday night convo that we had many, many, many moons ago. But I was looking at a post.
Mm-hmm.
I'm on several marriage. I'm in several marriage groups, right? Um, Jojo said, absolutely. If I can be intimate with my husband, then I should be able to talk with him. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
good perspective.
Yep. 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 Yep.
Yeah. If you can roll around in the sheets and be naked, then talking should be easy. I get it. That's what's up.
Well,
No?
not for everybody. I
So it's
agree with
easier to get naked than it is to talk?
I think so for some people.
Wow.
I think so. I mean,
Okay.
obviously not for us. And I agree with you and JoJo 100%. But I also know that some people sometimes can use um, the act of sexual intimacy as a way to not talk.
I get that.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Let
I
me
get
just
that.
give him or her what she wants or
Yeah.
he wants.
Yeah, I get that. I get that. That you're right, because that's a way to kind of gloss over some things.
Gloss over.
Because the
Yep.
talking that's happening during sex is all lovey-dovey, and
Yeah.
you calling on the name of the Lord and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Right. So you don't have to talk about the real issues.
Right.
Okay, I get it. I
Yeah.
get it. I'm with that.
That's what I meant.
I'm with that.
Yeah.
I'm with that. I'm with that. So I'm in several marriage groups, and in this one particular marriage group, which by the way is off the chain consistently with the comments and the posts, it is just bananas. it is so off the chain, and I'm not going to say the name of it. It's so off the chain
Why
that
not?
if that for somebody who's not married, well, I guess it doesn't matter if you know what it is or not, but it's a marriage support group that I'm in.
Okay, go ahead. It doesn't
And
matter.
it's so off the chain
Hmm.
that if I was not married, I would not want to get married.
Wow.
It's that
Wow.
crazy.
Hmm.
It's crazy. I'm
It
telling you.
should be the other way around in a
It
marriage
is
support group.
nuts. The
Wouldn't you think though?
You would think so. But it's a gripe fest.
Oh,
Man,
yeah.
some of the posts that are on there are just way out the box.
That's not a
So
support group.
so in this group, I'm scrolling through this group and I see a post that a guy put up. He said that essentially, it was a long post, so I'll put in a nutshell. His wife has decided abruptly that she is going to stop shaving. Why are you laughing?
Because that's just funny to me. Yeah.
So abruptly, she has decided she is never going to shave again. So when they first got married, they've been in a relationship for a while. They've been married for a while. This was a part of her routine. She would shave her legs, underarms, that kind of thing. And
Hmm.
that is something that he appreciates and actually would prefer.
Hmm.
Now he's like, what do I do?
Mm.
What do I do? What do I do? Um, Camilla, what's good? What's happening? I love what you're
Hey,
doing on TikTok.
Camilla.
I just followed Camilla on TikTok yesterday. She's got some good stuff going on TikTok. Um, yeah, Jojo. So
Yeah,
here,
but do you see
so
Joe's response? She
yeah,
said, "What?" Like,
so yeah,
see?
so we're gonna talk about it though. We're gonna talk about it. So he puts in the you're welcome, Camilla. He puts in the post that I feel like I should be able to have her continue to do that because that's what she did essentially before. And that's what I like.
Hmm.
So he's essentially asking the group, what do I do?
Hmm.
Man, the group crucifies him in the
Mm.
comments.
Mm.
They're like, dude, who are you? It's her body. She could do whatever she want to do. Who are you to tell her what to do? What if she told you to cut your beard? And what I mean, it just the comments was off the chain. So my question is, how do you talk to someone about things that are preferential
Mm.
as it relates to how you look, outward
Wow.
appearance?
Wow. Wow. Wow.
Because here's my thing. And some people in the comments were like, listen, you know, you can't tell her what to do. You just gotta, some people are like, you just gotta suck it up. Some people are like, you being childish. Some people are like, you know, what's the problem? Why can't you just let her be her and she's her own woman? And, you know, then you had the other side of the spectrum where people were like, listen, you gotta be honest with her. You gotta let her know how you feel. And, but you gotta also be prepared for her to be like, I hear you, but I ain't doing it.
Mm.
So I'm gonna put this out here in the comments.
Camilla.
I missed it. What's he say?
She said we got to be later for after dark. The girls are her kids are still up, so she had to
Oh
grab
yeah,
her
yeah, yeah. You gotta
headphones.
you gotta grab your headphones for this one. Yeah, yeah, yeah. This I should put a disclaimer at the bottom. Yeah, this
Yeah.
after this Saturday night thing is for the adults.
Yeah.
So here's the thing, right? We have preferences,
Hmm.
and I don't think it's wrong to have preferences.
No, it's not.
How do you talk to your spouse about a preference that is no longer being upheld? A preference like shaving your legs, or if your spouse gains more weight than you feel like is attractive.
Mm.
How do you talk about that? And here's why I'm bringing it to this forum tonight is because we often don't talk about it.
Yeah, we often don't.
So if I feel like, okay, hey, there's something that you're not doing anymore, and that was part of the thing that attracted me to you,
Right. Right.
and I don't say anything to you, then what am I doing? Am I harboring it? Is it causing resentment? What is it? But then the flip side is, can I say it to you without you being offended? What's that conversation
So
look like?
here's the thing. It could be, to answer your question, it could be that you're harboring it and not saying,
Mhm,
or it could be like you. I know you're like this.
mhm,
You may have a preference, but it's not like the overarching thing. And so you wouldn't say anything because it's not a deal breaker for you, even though it's a preference for you. So
Okay.
you probably wouldn't say anything.
Hmm.
Whereas obviously
So
it's more of a big deal
it's,
to some people.
I'm telling you, it's a conversation that has to be had because it happens. Listen, we sit with couples. We have sat with enough couples
Yeah.
to know that that is an issue.
Yeah. What's up,
As
sister?
simple as that may sound. Thank you for checking in, fam. Absolutely. Yes, it is. Yes, for the grown folks,
Hmm.
without a doubt. Now, if we married, you have to be honest with me. Okay.
Honest with me on if it's hot
If it's
or not.
if it's hot or not. And
So
Joe said it's how you say it.
it is how you say it. And so to answer your question, how do you say it? I think you can't come off like, you know, you look ridiculous or you don't you look ugly or whatever. You have to it's how you say it.
It is how you say
And
it.
I think you have to bring back reference. Remember when da 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 da? I just love how that feels when your legs are smooth and da 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 da.
Mhm.
But you can't be like, you feel like a werewolf. This is ridiculous. You need to shave.
And I agree with that. I would like to take it. The reason why I brought it here is because I want to take it beyond this. What you just said and what people are saying, that you got to be honest, and I agree with that. Let's say you're honest.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say you say it the right way, right? And think about all I'm gonna really get people's minds going. So think about all the things that could happen, not just the shaving. People who are into hair and the person cuts their hair. People who are into a certain size and now they're 4 sizes larger than that.
Yeah.
People who are into a certain look as it relates to clothes and they completely change their look in
Mm-hmm.
clothes. So somebody who was real, always fresh and real, corporate looking, like now is just in, joggers all day. And so everything that you could think of as it relates to attraction.
Yeah.
Somebody used to wear makeup or they don't wear it anymore. Now, here's where I want to take it. Let's say you're able to muster up the courage to be honest. You're able to say it the right way,
Mm-hmm.
and then they're like, "I don't care what you got to say.
Yeah, but the thing is,
I'm doing it anyway."
I don't know. Maybe you didn't literally mean muster up the courage because that
What's up,
makes
David?
it sound like, you know, I can't talk to you or I'm afraid to talk to you. That's number one.
Okay.
Um, Number two, I think I would probe a little bit deeper. Like if I said to you, I prefer this X, Y, and Z,
Mhm.
you can't call me a butterface and think that I'm not going to be mad.
Right.
Or butt face, maybe,
Hmm.
maybe butt face. Um,
Hmm.
I think that I would have to ask you if there was something that you used to do that attracted a part of what attracted me to you and you no longer do it.
Hmm.
I think also with me telling you that I miss it in choosing my right words and then you saying, I'm still not going to do that anymore. I probably would dig a little bit deeper. That's just me, the
Okay.
wannabe psychologist in me, and ask you, where is it coming from? Did something happen to make you change your mind? Are you okay? Type thing, those types of questions is something, especially because, like you said, this person used to be crisp dressed all the time and now joggers. First thing I would be like is, are you okay? Is everything all right?
What if they are okay? What if they're just like, this is so to put it in the context of what I wrote in the thing. Let me grab some of these comments. Um, or is this how, or is this how
Or
you,
this is
or
how.
this is how you make me feel? Yeah, okay. I see what you're saying. That's how you should say it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, how sensitive is the other party?
Right.
Does that matter though?
It it doesn't matter in to the point where you're not gonna say anything, in my opinion. But I think that you would have to be if you have a a spouse that is pretty sensible, not sensible, pretty sensitive, then I think that again, you would have to choose your words and
Carefully.
choose words, timing, and all of that carefully. But I still think that you should say something though, not say anything.
You should. I agree with that. You should say something. I saw Jojo. I put the comment up. Encourage your spouse to work out in the gym.
together.
together.
That's the word.
Camilla said if they're really interested in making the marriage thrive, they aren't going to dismiss what you have to say to them. So I get that. But here's the driving force, and this is why I keep saying this. I sat with a couple. I
Mm-hmm.
could see them right now in my head who was going through something similar,
Mm-hmm.
and one person was not budging.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll put it in our context. Let's
Mm-hmm.
say, for example, you say to me, babe, first of all, I agree. You should be able to come to me and say, babe, you know what? You was fit and trim and muscles bulging, and now you're 150 pounds heavier. I just that's not a good look for me. And I
Mm-hmm.
know you wouldn't say it that way, but I'm just saying it, the way I talk.
Mm-hmm.
So now if I say to you, babe, listen, you know what? I like my size, and I don't believe that you telling me I need to do something different is now making me feel like you don't appreciate me for who I am.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to do that. This is a literal situation I'm talking about
Yeah.
with somebody that I sit with. So how do you have that conversation? What happens next?
Mm.
That's what I want to know from the folk who are out here. What happens next?
Well, I
So,
mean,
because
it's
Camilla said, I'll put her comment up, if you're really interested in making the marriage thrive, you're not going to dismiss. But what if you do? Is that wrong? Because with this particular leg shaving thing, you had people who are like, hey, it's her body. She should have the right to choose. You should be respecting her. You're actually being disrespectful to her by wanting her to do something against what she really wants to do right now. So they flipped it on him like he was the bad guy. He
yeah.
was the bad guy.
Yeah. I guess you would have to make a decision at that point. If if it's that big of a deal to you.
Definitely communicate creatively. So the reason so the Thursday night convo we did a long time back, the title of that was babe, you're overweight and I'm not attracted to you anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So here's the part of the conversation that I'm curious about. Because listen, we gotta admit that there are things that attract us to our spouse
Yeah.
and significant other. If those things change and those things are tied to the attraction, how do you tell your spouse that? And what are you supposed to do with that? Jojo says the husband should watch what he says to the wife during her postpartum
Postpartum
season
season.
after a baby needs to tread.
Well,
I
yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, for
I agree with
sure.
that. Um, I agree with that, and I feel like that's a little bit different
It is
because
a little bit different.
there's some cause and effect there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Obviously you had a baby. There are some nuances that that align with that significantly.
Yeah.
So the person who doesn't respect that is definitely irresponsible in their communication. I agree with that.
Yeah.
I think it's dismissing right.
It's readjusting your worldview, understanding people are never the same. I was going to say that they're always
Interesting.
changing. Always.
Interesting.
People always change. I was just going to say that.
Shout out to Charles Jackson.
Yeah.
What's good, bro?
Agreed.
People are always changing. Okay, so empathy. Okay.
Empathy.
So let me go with that. Charles Jackson said empathy. Camilla said people are always changing.
Mm-hmm.
How do I adjust then? Going with that, how do I adjust the things that were important to my attraction to your change? How do I do that? So I love the way your legs look when they're nice and smooth. Now they look like you wearing leg warmers. That's not attractive to me. But you're changing, and I need to have empathy, and I need to
Right.
respect that you're changing, and I need to respect your decision you've made, and I need to have empathy. How do I adjust now
Mm-hmm.
the thing that was attractive to me to your change? How do
Yeah.
I do that?
I'm not sure how else to say it, honestly, other than what's already
But
been
what if
said.
she never loses the weight after having children?
Exactly. Like I said, it's like
You're
you
right.
at that point you have to make a decision.
You're right.
Like what's important to you?
And I agree with that. I agree with everything. My again this what we do tonight is really about having the conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Because what happens and we see this all the time with couples. What happens is no conversation takes place.
Right.
So now I'm upset that you got hair growing everywhere that you never had growing before, and I don't say anything.
Mm-hmm.
One, because I don't want to get in an argument with you. I'm trying to avoid getting in an argument. Number
Right.
one.
Right.
Number two, you aren't changing. You've
Mm.
made it clear to me that this is who you are now. This is who you want to be. You're comfortable in this space. Listen, as God is my witness, I'm not making this up. In the post, the dude was like, the reasoning she gave him was she likes the way the wind feels blowing through the hair on her legs. I'm not
Okay.
lying.
To each his own.
So now what? So now how do we? The thing is having that conversation, because this is a tough conversation to have,
Yeah.
but it's a necessary conversation to have.
Yeah.
So I'll be honest with you. I'm gonna tell you right now, it's tough to navigate, or I'll even use this word. It's tough to referee, because sometimes we're refereeing these conversations. It's tough to referee that kind of conversation, because it comes down to somebody being willing to now let go of something that was important to them
Mm.
without feeling like they're giving up a piece of who they are and a piece of what this relationship hangs on.
Yeah.
Because we could say it's superficial all we want to, but we're human beings, and we gotta we it's I'm telling you that that is very important to folks.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So let
Yeah.
me get the comments, because I don't want the comments to get too far away from me. Acceptance, love,
Yep.
discuss it.
Yep.
No shutting down with resentment. That's
Right.
tough though. That's tough.
Uh, yeah, it is tough, but it's tough.
If you're centering your preference and are unwilling to change,
You are also being selfish.
wow. Okay. Okay.
It's true.
I can't believe it's over shaving though.
Yeah.
Jojo, I'm trying to tell you.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, how would you have that conversation? Do you have an opinion on how?
I do, but this is interesting. The convo isn't going to be successful if both parties are centering themselves.
Very good
So
point.
so you know what I'm hearing. The theme of the comments is that you essentially have to be willing to, which I heard in some of the comments that they were making to this guy as well. You have to be willing to. I'm using this word for shock value, just to be funny. You have to acquiesce
Yeah.
to some degree.
Yeah, you do. And that is with everything
That
in
is.
that's with everything where you and your spouse don't necessarily agree.
You have
Like
yeah, you got to be a really
you have to
you got to
acquiesce.
be a really mature person.
Yep.
Because listen, I'm gonna be honest, and I'm speaking as a guy. And there's some other guys in here. If you want to back me up, you can. If you want me to be out on the limb by myself, that's fine. I'll eat this if I have to. As a guy, there are some things about you that I find very attractive,
Mm-hmm.
and I feel like are important to me.
Mm.
If you change them, I'm going to be 100% honest. I do not know how quickly I would be able to do all of these things that people are saying.
Yeah. I understand that. I understand that. I think though, I'm not saying that I have anything that I'm trying to change up or anything like that. I just think because of your personality, I think that you would say something, or most often you would just be like, well, hey, it is what it is. Not
Maybe, maybe.
necessarily right away,
Hmm.
but I think that you would.
Yeah, maybe, maybe. And I know this is not as sexy as a conversation as last week, but when I saw it, I was
Mhm.
like, wait a minute, this is something that is a very real experience for a lot of folks.
Yeah.
There are some things that now with the baby weight thing, and I'm about to contradict myself. I know I am, because I can hear the contradiction in my head before I say it. With the baby weight thing, there is a certain level of, and again, guys, tell me how you feel about this. With the baby weight thing, I feel like guys, not all, because there are some jerks out there, but I think guys accept that because it is a reflection of the experience that they have, that they love, which is this woman has born a child for me,
Right.
right? It doesn't all the other things aren't always tied to something like that.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah.
And I listen, I'm just keeping it a buck, man. And like I said, we've sat with enough couples to know that this is not frivolous. Like, in the and what's funny is I had to learn in this coaching experience that you can't you can't project what is important to you on somebody else.
Right.
Because I remember in the beginning years ago of this coaching, getting into this coaching space, that I would be listening to couples and be like, this is ridiculous. Like, you're an idiot.
Wow. Did you think that?
Yeah, I'm like, we're wasting time here, but it's
Wow.
important to people.
It's important to
And
people.
I realized
Yeah.
that if it's important to you, you should be able to learn how to have a conversation about it.
Yeah.
And this is one of those things that is important to you. Oh, Dr. Ez. All right. Dr. Ez got something to say.
Unconditional love. That's what it
So,
boils down to. And acceptance is so important. However, we need to communicate appropriately and help the other if they are willing to
I
make the
put that up already.
changes. Go for walks together,
Program.
join the gym. Where did it go? Oh, go for walks together, join a gym together. However, if they don't want to change, then pray for patience, love, and tolerance on your part, and focus on the other awesome complementary attributes of the person. There should be more than one or two reasons why you love your spouse. 100% agree. 100% agree. And see what you have to focus on is not the issue or the thing that is no longer what it used to be, but focus on having God change your heart and change your focus
Okay.
about your whole relationship, period. Change your focus and change your visual, give you other things to be reminded of, other things of why you fell in love with your spouse. 100% agree.
Can I play devil's advocate for a second?
Yes, go ahead.
Let me just play. I agree. Let's be clear. Let's get that on the table first. I agree. Let's play devil's advocate for a minute. What do you say to the person who does not and or will not accept the God component?
Mm.
However, is struggling with the fact that this thing on this person is significant to me as it relates to how I view them physically.
Yeah, I don't know. That person, I don't know.
What do you say to that? What do you say to that? What does that conversation look like?
I don't know because that sounds very selfish to me. So I don't know.
I don't think it's selfish. I don't think it's selfish.
You don't?
No, I don't.
Why?
Because here's it. We're
Selfish.
we're human beings. So if I'm courting you, I'm dating you, and you dress a certain way, you look a certain way, you smell a certain way, you have taken care of yourself, your skin is silky smooth, and these are all things that are part of the check boxes in the physical portion of the things that are important
That
to me.
attracted you to me. Yeah.
And then we get married, you continue to do those things 3 years, 5 years, 7 years, 10 years. And in year 12, you're like, you know what? I ain't shaving no more.
Someone put in the comments about maturity, and I think, oh yeah, my sister did. And I think that that has a lot to do with it, because come on, do you not know that in people change and people evolve, physically? And I know you're going to say yes, that's true, but there is no but to that. That's what happens. That's
I
what
agree. I
happens.
I listen, I'm not disputing what you're saying. I'm just giving you the other side.
Yeah.
The other side is people do change, people do evolve,
Hmm.
right? But I don't know. Let's go to the comments.
Yeah.
It's a serious conversation. I think the spouse that is unsatisfied needs to be able to be true and
Hmm.
open, and the other spouse should take them seriously and do something about making those changes.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. I agree.
But how do you have successful marriage without a higher power?
because
Interesting.
human nature is to be selfish and self-centered. Yeah, but there are some people
Uh,
that do not have that thought process like we do.
so, Camilla, I agree with you. 100%. I agree with you. And I don't want to say but because that will negate the fact that I said I agree with you. However, there are individuals and we have clients where, as much as we like everyone,
Mhm.
every client knows it is clear as day that the God component is a part of who I am.
Yeah,
But we have clients that do not accept that.
right.
And so now we have to get them to communicate without frustration and judgment. We have to get them to build intimacy
Mhm.
from a practical place,
Mhm.
or their marriage will fail.
Yeah.
It it just it just is. You know what I mean? And it's tough
Mm.
because I agree with you, Camilla. And sometimes I have to tie in the God component
Mhm.
through the lens of common sense and maturity and the type of trajectory that would take place if the Holy Spirit was guiding you.
Mm.
But I got to figure out how to say that in a way that sounds logistical to them,
Wow.
right? And so that's kind of where that comes into play. What is why I played devil's advocate just now to do that. I
I
agree it's
agree
about
on that.
preference.
Mhm.
My husband grew his hair out at the beginning of the pandemic and I had a hard time with it.
Wow.
There it is.
Yeah. Wow.
Because here's the thing. I don't want to the lines are blurry. The line is blurred between maturity and the validation of how you feel.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you can't necessarily say to me that I'm not maturing and I'm not growing because I feel a certain way.
Mm.
Like if there's something I like, are you saying that I gotta now not like it no more?
Mm. Or in Laura's case, if there's something, well, yeah, yeah, if there's something I like, yeah, yeah. So I'm curious how.
Whatever happened to unconditional love? Ah, that's so what I what when you say that, David, what I hear, and I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna use an active listening technique, and you tell me if I'm wrong. What I hear when I hear you say that is that I just gotta take whatever you give me, and I gotta take it out of love.
Mm,
So if you gain 300 pounds in the
mm-hmm,
next 12 months, I just got to take that, even if I like the body shape that you are right now,
mm-hmm.
and I'm attracted to the body shape that you are right now. Unconditional love says I just got to take it.
I think, yeah, I don't know. I'm not
That's
sure
a
about
hard one.
that.
I knew I was
Yeah,
bringing a hard one to the table. I knew it. I
I'm
knew I
not sure
was.
about unconditional love as far as, yeah, I don't
I knew I was bringing a hard one to the table. Laura said he eventually cut it, and I was so happy.
know.
So Laura, I would be curious. Did you have a conversation with him
That's
about
what
it?
I was gonna ask before.
Did you
Yeah.
did he know that you didn't like it? Did you, and what was that conversation like?
Yes, I'm curious about that. Like if he knew that you didn't like it and he didn't cut it till eventually. Like how was that in between time?
Yeah, because here's my thing, and I'm not saying this for the sake of argument. I'm just saying this for the sake of balance. Me personally, this is me. This is not, none of these views expressed tonight have anything to do with how you should run your relationship. Me personally, I don't agree that the maturation process involves me changing what is attractive to me. I don't agree with that.
Say that again. Say it again.
So in order for me to mature
Mhm.
and grow with you,
Mhm.
I don't believe that maturation process includes me changing the things that are attractive to me.
Mm. Uh
Because now you're asking me to go against something that is me.
well,
You're asking me to say that, man, I like the nice, meaty, 175-pound woman, and that's what I like because there's meat in all the right places. There's stuff to squeeze, there's stuff to grab, and that's what I like.
Mm.
So what you're telling me is that now, in order to be mature, I gotta suddenly not like that no more and like the 400-pound person.
Well, I'm going back to Dr. Ez's point where she said, it's not just one or two things that it shouldn't have been one or two things that attracted you to your spouse. So is it not possible for you to be like, well, there's so many other things about my spouse that I just love still?
Mm-hmm. But here's the thing. Can I play devil's advocate again? So, for those of you, to give you some context, we had this conversation with our 19-year-old son right
Yeah.
before we got on here.
Hmm.
And in that conversation, we told him not to settle.
Yeah, we did. We did. We did. We did.
Okay. Okay. So I gotta stop. I gotta stop. See, I gotta
Oh,
change what my eyes see
it's a hard
to accept
conversation.
that. And I don't know that I agree with that.
Yeah, this is a hard one.
So Camilla said that's why y'all get. I get. Yeah, you're right. You're right. But I think we are living in a time where couples are throwing in the towel for minor things. You're right.
Yes.
You're right. Thank you for tagging Lenore. Where you at? Where you at? Where you at? Come through. Laura said, yes, we talked about it. He knew that I preferred the shorter cut. I still reminded him of how handsome he was
Oh,
no matter
see,
what, while not lying about my preference. That's good.
that is
That's good.
great.
But by the way, I would be remiss if I didn't say this. Laura, JoJo, which is Jay Inspires, you need to be following these folks. Just trust me on that.
Put your
Trust me on
handle
that one.
in the comments, Laura and Joe, and everybody else that has.
Camilla's got some great things going on
Yeah,
too. Put your stuff. Listen, this is open forum, man. Put your stuff in the comments so folk can get connected with you. Those are folk that you need to be connected with. So do that. So
yeah.
I like that. I like that. So not lying about your preference.
Hmm.
So now, Laura, can I push you a little bit further? Let's say you had this conversation. He knew that you preferred the shorter cut. You reminded him of how handsome he is no matter what, while not lying about your preference. And he's like, babe, I appreciate you. That's so dope that you were honest with me, but
Hmm.
this is how it's going to be. This is what I like. This is the new me. Every time I look in the mirror, I'm like, goodness gracious, I'm dope. So I'm keeping it. Can you tell me what happens next, Laura?
Yeah, I think. Well, I don't know. I'm not. I'm gonna wait and see what Laura says.
To be honest, I fell in love with my husband's character and heart.
Hmm.
You sound like our son.
Yeah, I was just thinking that.
I was also attracted to him, but we are not the same 16 years later from the day we met.
Yeah,
Let me ask you this, JoJo, and I agree with you because we aren't the same either. Let's face it,
right.
we aren't the same. I'm pretty close to being the same. I'm almost as dope as I was back then. Almost. She is too. You thought I was going to leave you out there, did you? I know. I saw you. I saw you. But we aren't the same. We aren't the same either. But I'm gonna tell you this though: the same things that attracted me to her 26 years ago are still the same things that attract me to her today. And I got to be honest with you, if they changed drastically, I'm not saying that I would not adjust. I'm just saying I don't know what that adjustment looks like.
Mm,
That's what I'm saying.
yeah,
I don't know what that adjustment looks like.
yeah.
Um, but that combo pre-marriage, there we go.
It's
There we go.
different after marriage.
There we go.
Mm,
There we go. And that's what we were talking about with our son as well.
yeah.
The issue, and here the point, I'm glad you said this, Camilla. If there's anybody who's watching this or watching by replay who is not married and
Hmm.
who is thinking about married,
Hmm.
be getting married, you have to be able to have these conversations ahead of time.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to be this guy that I talked about in the marriage group who was like, man, we've been married all this time and all of these things were the things that caught my eye. And now she's like, I'm not doing them no more.
Right.
So, and
Mm-mm-mm.
I'm not saying that she would know down the road that she would stop shaving her legs, but you got to have conversations that talk about preferences and talk about what they are and why they're important to you. And I'm not
Mm-hmm.
saying that's going to keep you from changing them,
Yeah.
but at least you know going in, hey, this is what's important to me. And even game plan, how do we deal with this when it does change or if it does change?
The tough thing too, though, even in having these pre-marriage conversations, is that there are just some things that will not come up in conversation. I think so.
You think
I
so?
Yeah, I don't think that, or at least I can't imagine talking to you about shaved legs or non-shaved legs preferences
No, but
pre-marriage.
we talked about that.
We did?
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we did. I'm gonna tell you why in a second. Hold on. I'm gonna tell you how I know we did. Um,
I know what you're going to say.
Camilla's information right here. Make sure that you are following Camilla and Laura's information right here as well. Make sure you're following Laura.
Yes,
Um,
indeed. But I don't think that typically most people talk about those types of
they
things.
don't, and that's the point of this.
Yeah.
That's the whole
Yeah, yeah,
point of why
yeah.
we're doing this is because most people don't talk about those things,
Yeah.
and it is important that you're able to.
Yeah.
Right? Laura said if he loved it and wanted to keep it, I would let him live his best life.
Oh,
I
I
wouldn't and didn't nag him.
see. She just said what her preference was.
Laura, can I push you a little bit further?
Oh, come on.
This is what I do with my clients. So can I push you a little bit further? I appreciate that. And that is phenomenal. And that aligns very much with the person that we have grown to know you to be. Awesome.
I'm laughing at Camilla's
Oh,
comment.
okay. So Laura, I'm gonna push you a little bit further. Here's a question I have for you in light of what you just said. Now, what is the process that you have to go through now to to now be okay with your preference and or adjust your preference so that you won't ever feel some kind of way
Mm,
down the road?
mm,
What does that process look like?
hmm.
That process of now accepting it and then now rearranging your preference to continue to be able to continue to accept it down the road. What does that look like?
Yeah.
Where we at? Oh man, we got a lot of comments. I missed some stuff. Uh,
Sometimes weight gain or changes in personal appearance comes from a point of rebellion, anger, or mental health issues such as depression, which causes eating disorders and overweight. It could be a passive aggressive move toward a marriage that is failing or a spouse having a hard time forgiving the other spouse for extramarital affairs, etc. Often you need to fix the mental health of the marriage before you work on the physical and personal appearance. Yep. Yep.
okay.
You can't play devil's advocate for that.
I could. I got something. But before I do that though, let me tell you how I know
I know what you're
conversation.
going to say. Go
You know what I'm
ahead.
gonna say? One day I rubbed up against her and her leg. There was some stubble on her legs. And
Like
what
there
did
is
I
right
say?
now. I'm coming up on the rough side. Oh, God. It's funnier when you say it.
Now listen. Let's be clear. I'm not this guy that I talked about in the marriage group, right? I'm good either way.
Oh, man.
What I did tell her, because I'm honest, what I told her was the thing that I would struggle with is facial hair
Yeah.
because I I'm not willing to kiss me. I just had to keep it a buck. So now let me ask you that. So let me ask you this.
Mm,
You decide now
hmm.
you are not going to do anything about controlling any facial hair. I got to accept that. That's essentially what you were saying. And that's what some people were saying. I got to accept that we're twinning.
Oh, come on.
Because here's the thing, you know that's a movement now, right?
Yeah,
It's a
I have
movement. Like
seen it.
women are saying now, listen, you can't tell us, you can't put us in this category that these particular things are sexy and these particular things are not, or are
Mm.
manly and these particular things are feminine. No, no, no. We're gonna do whatever we feel like doing. I'm just saying it's tough to accept. That's all I'm
Yeah,
saying. Uh, let's see. So Laura, let's catch up with these comments. Laura, we can't cover everything premarital conversations. Okay.
yeah, yeah,
And I agree with that. I agree with that.
yeah.
I agree with that. Dating is an interview process. Please walk through the stop, yield, and construction signs, expecting it's going away once married. I think I understand what you're saying there.
Mm.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. I say it like this: flags don't change colors. If
If
you
you
were
were,
a skirt,
if you wear a
if you
skirt,
wear a skirt,
I could see the shaved leg convo happening.
and some people are like this, it don't matter,
Mm-hmm.
skirt or not. Like this is what we're doing, and this is what I'm doing. I always said we did talk. Yeah, we did. And there's I would say even before that the rough side of the mountain thing. I think remember there was something I rubbed up against you and said it felt like a Brillo pad or something I said along those lines. I can't
That one
remember.
I don't remember.
But anyway, I'm good either way. But
I'm about to
yes,
go shave my legs,
no, no,
y'all,
no, you
because
good.
it's been a couple days.
You good. You good. You good. You good. You good. Let's catch up. Where we at? Laura. Oh, I think I
Yeah,
got that
you.
already.
We don't have to go through all of them.
Yeah, I like acknowledging them. Um,
Y'all are such church kids. Are
I coach women to heal and recover after a breakup. Yes. Did you put your information in there, Joe?
we? Yeah, she did. I'm
Oh,
pretty
okay.
sure she did.
Um, taking it too
Too
far.
far, Camilla. Too
Listen,
far.
but here's the thing: it wouldn't be too far if she just allowed it to go for the rest of her life, which is what this guy was saying.
Yeah.
He said his wife said she is never shaving ever again.
Mm.
Do you know what that's going to look like in 10 years?
Well, it depends. I mean, it doesn't grow. I mean, after a time, she's not gonna look like Sasquatch. After a time, your hair will have a certain length that it will get to. In 10 years, it's not gonna be, you know.
I, well, yeah, it depends on the person. Depends on how well
Yeah.
it grows, right? Laura, thank you for your honesty. I appreciate that because I am in that same boat. I do
Mm,
not know. I don't know. And it's hard to tell couples what to do
yeah.
in that scenario
Mm-hmm.
outside of having the conversation. But if the conversation doesn't, so in every conversation, there should be three components. There should be explanation, clarification, and negotiation. I know I wasn't said this show is not about us giving any advice, but I'm saying that to say this. Once you get to the negotiation phase of the conversation
Mm-hmm.
and you don't come out of the other side of that phase with
Mm,
some level of understanding, what happens next?
yeah. Again, going back to what I said in the beginning, I guess that's a choice that you have to make at that point. There's a choice that you have to make. Are
There
you
is, you're right.
are you okay with it, or are you not? And what are you gonna do if you're not?
And going back to Camilla's a comment that Camilla made a while back, if you're and I'm paraphrasing, if you want the relationship to work, then you got to make some level of adjustment.
Right.
I yeah yeah.
Yep. In 10 years, is she really going to not shave legs, underarms, and other parts? Yikes.
Listen,
That's what she
that's what
said.
she said. And so here's the thing. My thing is that I believe this is what I believe. Again, this is not advice. This is what I believe. I believe that part of the unconditional love
Hmm.
and part of the maturation process in a relationship is the ability to meet your spouse halfway.
Yes.
So let me tell you what that looks like in reference to this post that I read.
Hmm.
They've been married. The guy was clear about, hey, these are the things that were attractive to me, and now she's changing them.
Hmm.
She needs he needs to be able to be honest with her
Hmm.
about why it's important to him
Yeah.
how it makes him feel,
Yeah.
right?
Hmm.
And and how he would feel if it went away.
Right.
She now has to take that into consideration, and maybe there's some level of I don't know what the compromise would be, but maybe there is some level of negotiation. I'm gonna use that word,
Hmm.
that would take place, that would allow her to be like, hey, you know what? I really feel like I love the freedom of not shaving. So instead of me shaving every day or every other day or whatever her normal routine was, can we agree on just once a week?
Right.
As opposed to saying, no, I ain't, I hear you saying this is attractive, but I ain't never doing it again.
Mm.
That to me is selfish, because they were saying he was selfish for not understanding her. I feel like she's being selfish for not being willing to understand the fact that this dude, part of what he feels is attached to what he sees. Like we can't negate that.
Yeah. I don't know. I just can't get past people change. I just can't get past that. So there it is.
All right. Well, listen. The goal of this is not for us to. We about to wrap up. The goal of this is not for us to come to a conclusion. So let me be clear about that.
Yeah.
So don't be disappointed if you didn't get a conclusion for us. The goal of this Saturday night is never to give you a conclusion. The goal of this is for you to now be able to figure out how you can have these kinds of conversations with your significant other.
Right. Right.
Because if going back to the beginning to wrap this up, if we believe that we should be able to talk to our spouses about anything,
Hmm.
we need to now learn how to do that,
Yeah. Yeah.
especially in cases where you just don't know what the nuances are,
Yeah.
right? Yes, I agree. Marriage is supposed to be selfless,
Hmm.
or get some laser hair removal done. You both win.
Yeah. Pretty much.
So yeah, and so that's my thing. I feel like, now here's the caveat, and then we'll go. The caveat is, and it sounds like a contradiction, but the caveat is things that you can't control,
Hmm.
like health issues,
Right.
or somehow you develop some level of skin sensitivity or disease that you can't put a razor on your skin,
Yeah.
or else something bad is going to happen.
Yeah.
That's
That
a
would be
very
a health
different
issue.
scenario.
Yeah.
And I believe that people are it's a little bit easier to make the connection psychologically to something like that, as
Yeah.
opposed to
Like,
this attracts me and you just telling me you ain't doing it no more.
yeah. I like Dr. Ez's last comment as well. This is a true test of your depth of love and acceptance and also faithfulness.
Yeah, I
Yep.
agree.
Yep. And I think that in the way that Laura described how it was for her and her husband when he grew his facial hair over the pandemic, I think that that epitomizes, is that the right word?
Mhm.
The true depth of love and acceptance and faithfulness.
Yep.
The way that they both handled it.
Yep.
Hmm.
Yep. Now let's be clear. Laura says she wouldn't know. She's not sure what she
Yes,
would do if
yes.
he said it, which is true, which is real.
Right.
And that's, that's something that we got to look at. And so the goal here, ladies and gentlemen, as we get out of here, is to bring conversations to the table that are tough conversations,
Hmm.
or that are taboo conversations.
Hmm.
So every Saturday night, it's going to either be a tough conversation or it's going to be a taboo conversation, something that we never talk about or sweep under the rug and be like, don't talk about that. Or it's going to be something that's just a tough conversation like this one tonight. The goal being to get you in the place where you are now starting to have conversations with your spouse.
Yeah.
Now, I said I wasn't going to give advice, but I will say this. Don't start with the tense stuff.
Yeah. Start with the stuff that is has no bearing one way or the
Right.
other. Trivial stuff. What would you like for dinner? Where should we go eat? Well, I was thinking I wanted Chinese. Really? I was kind of thinking maybe Indian food.
Yeah.
That type of
Start.
conversation.
Yeah. Don't.
Start with the easy stuff.
Yeah. Don't start here. Don't start with, hey, babe, you know what? You a little overweight. No, I don't think I like you no more. No. Don't start there. Don't start there. Work up to that. So we out of here. Listen, thank you so much for taking time to hang out with us. Conversations After Dark, every Saturday, or kind of every Saturday. Maybe we'll see at 10 p.m.
Yeah.
Also, Want to say this while you guys are here. Two things. One, if you're not subscribed to the YouTube channel, please subscribe to the YouTube channel. It is youtube.com/Denali
Mm-hmm.
LLC. Also, tomorrow, which is fast becoming one of our favorite shows. Tomorrow, we have another Inside the Relationship at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you haven't seen the rest of those, make sure you see those as well. That is a phenomenal conversation. Now, in that show, we are giving advice.
Yeah.
All right. So we out of here. Got a couple more comments here. Eh, most conversations cover 80%. You're right.
Most people like to avoid the additional 20. Yeah.
You're right. You're
Yep.
right. Thank you, David, for being a part of the conversation. Appreciate it. Thank you, Camilla, as well, for being a part of this.
Yeah.
Uh, don't forget about the time change. Good
That's
stuff.
right. Spring ahead.
Good stuff. So listen, man, we love you guys. And listen, again, like I said, it's about having conversation.
Mm-hmm.
You should be able to have conversations with your spouse or significant other. You should be able to share your heart. You
Yeah.
should be able to feel acknowledged. You should be able to feel heard.
Yes.
And so we're going to bring you some crazy topics to talk about and see how you feel about it. All right. So listen, good night, everybody. Have a fantastic rest of your weekend. And we will see you in the next video.
Good night.
Good night.